Hey everyone, it's Brian Howard. Let's talk about the Calgary real estate market. And the headline this month is pretty simple. The market is not crashing, it's not exploding, it's normalizing. And honestly, after the last few years, normal might be the most exciting word in real estate. Here's what happened last month in April. Sales came in at 2,104 units. That's down about 6% from last year. At the same time, new listings rose to 3,800. Inventory climbed to almost 6,000 homes, and overall months of supply is now sitting just under 3 months. So, what does that mean in plain English? It means buyers have more choice. It means sellers need better pricing and better presentation. And it means we are moving away from the intense seller's market conditions we saw when migration was red hot. Now, this is where it gets interesting. Calgary is not one market. Detached homes are still relatively tight. Apartment-style condos are giving buyers more leverage. And everything in between depends a lot on location, product type, and price point. So if you're trying to understand this market, you can't just say, how's Calgary? You have to ask, what part of Calgary? You have to ask, what property type? And how good is the product? That's the game right now. Let's talk detached homes first. Detached remains the strongest segment overall. In April, the benchmark price for a detached home was $745,000. Inventory is still relatively tight at 2,468 units, and months of supply is just over 2 months. That's why detached homes in the right areas are still performing well. In fact, the Northwest, West, and South districts are still showing seller market conditions with less than 2 months of supply. So yes, buyers have more options than they did before, but if you're looking at a well-priced detached home in a strong district, you still need to move with purpose. This is not the market for lazy hesitation. Now, if you're in the Northeast, conditions are softer. That part of the detached market is favoring buyers more, and prices there actually trended down month over month. So again, same city, different realities. Now let's move to semi-detached. Semi-detached homes are holding up pretty well. The April benchmark price reached $690,000. And after a few months of gains, prices are now only slightly below last year's levels. Some districts are seeing stronger performance than others, especially city center, northwest, and west. So if you're a move-up buyer or you're looking for that sweet spot between detached and attached living, semi-detached is very competitive in the right areas. Now for row homes. This segment is more balanced. Inventory has improved, months of supply is sitting at nearly 3 months, and price trends vary quite a bit by district. The Northeast has seen the biggest price adjustments, while the West has held up better. This is one of those property types where micro-location matters a lot. Not all row homes are created equal, and no, granite countertops alone are not a pricing strategy. Now, what about condos? This is where buyers have gained the most leverage. Apartment condominiums, that's what we're talking. It has over 4 months of supply of inventory. I've seen some markets with some districts with 11 months of supply. Inventory rose to almost 2,000 units, and benchmark price sits just over $300,000. Compared with last April, condo benchmark prices are down nearly 9%. That's a meaningful adjustment. So if you're a condo buyer, this is a segment where you have more room to negotiate, more inventory to choose from, and less pressure than you've seen in a while. That does not mean every condo is a deal. It means you finally have to have time to think, which for buyers is a very nice change of pace. Now, from a big picture pricing standpoint, the overall residential benchmark price in Calgary reached $569,000 last month in April. That's up from March on a seasonal basis, but it's still about 3% below last year. So prices are not falling apart, they're adjusting differently depending on the segment. Detached and semi-detached are showing more resilience. Condos are softer, and the market overall is balancing out. That's the real story. If you're a seller, you can still win in this market, but you need to price properly. You need strong presentation, and you need to understand that buyers have options now. The days of throwing a sign on the lawn and waiting for chaos are, well, at least for the moment, less reliable. If you're a buyer, this market is giving you more breathing room, more listings, more selection, less panic. But if you're shopping for a quality detached home in a strong area, don't confuse more balanced with slow. Good properties still get attention. And if you're an investor or first-time buyer looking at condos, this may be one of the better windows we've seen recently to make a smart move without the same frenzy. And one more quick note on the surrounding markets. Airdrie. Airdrie is more balanced with modest monthly price gains. Cochrane tightened up in April and posted price growth. And Okotoks remains relatively tight, with prices holding steady around last year's levels. So if you're looking outside Calgary, those markets each have their own story too. Bottom line, Calgary has moved into a more balanced market. Detached is still relatively tight. Condos are more buyer-friendly, and strategy matters more now than it did when everything was just going up and selling fast. That's actually good news. Balanced markets reward good decisions. If you're thinking about buying, selling, or moving to Calgary, reach out to me directly. I'll help you understand your specific segment of the market, your neighborhood, your price range, and the right strategy for right now. See you in the next one. Thanks for watching.